Happy November, everyone. Man, Thanksgiving has come and gone, and now the holiday movies have begun in the Skipper household. Now, I'm one of those parents that make their kids wait until after Thanksgiving to listen to any Christmas music or watch any Christmas movies. They know what's going to happen if they see anything Christmas prior to Thanksgiving. But it's over, so let's get our holidays on. But first, we should take a look at the market report for this November, shall we? For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Joe Skipper and I'm the owner of Skipper Realty Group, brokered by eXp Realty out of Oregon, and we're gonna get into some of the stats and trends on the local housing market here in Oregon. And also, I'm having my friend and lender, Paul Robinson, back on to talk about some of the mortgage topics and some tips on that side of the home sales process. Now, he's a mortgage broker and owner of Greater Oregon Mortgage Company and has helped lots of my family and friends get into homes that they wanted, even when it didn't look like it was gonna be possible. Now, he goes over all sorts of tips and tricks and advice for those of you that are looking to buy in this market, so stay tuned to hear what he has to say as well. And finally, if you haven't already, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the latest on the Oregon housing market so that you can make the best financial decisions for you and your family, then consider subscribing to my page. I put out content regularly so that you can be more successful, not only as a buyer and a seller on a personal level, but as an investor as well. Now, let's get on to the housing market. But home prices decreased this month. The median sold price for Wilsonville in October was $609,950. This decreased by 13% since last month and decreased by 15% from last year. The price decrease isn't nuts in the fact that traditionally home prices go down in the winter months, but a 15% decrease from last year is something to note. Now, nationally, home prices are still high, and though they are settling down a bit, they're staying stubbornly high. So even if you are getting into the market at 7 or 8% rates, the increase in value over time for the place you're getting is good. Home investments continues to be one of the few ways really wealthy people get and stay wealthy. Now, that doesn't mean to just go out and buy up every house that you can for whatever price is offered. You still take a risk when you invest in homes, just like the stock market, but you can make it calculated and mitigate a lot of it. You should first off work with a team that can guide you through this market. Start by getting a lender and a realtor to get you in a better position to buy or sell now. Now you know what that means, right? Work with me and you will be way ahead of the game. But seriously, if you take a look at the media, you will have a million different opinions and theories on what the market is and what it isn't going to do. Now, it's good to pay attention, but know that the media is there for one reason, and that is for ratings. They don't really care day to day what is going on in your life specifically, or your city, or your neighborhood. They want views, so they will say what they need to in order to do that. Now, partner with a local expert and you're going to be good. The inventory for Wilsonville in October increased to 24 single-family homes. This is a 20% decrease since last month and an 8% decrease from last year. As we've discussed before, mortgage rates are causing buyers to pause and reevaluate what they can and cannot afford. What that means is houses are staying on the market for a longer period of time. Stay patient as a seller in this market and make sure you're pricing the home accurately. We aren't seeing a lot, if any, homes go for over asking, and the homes are sitting on the market for a little longer than before. Now, it doesn't mean your house sucks or the value's wrong. It just means that we're in a more normal style of market where buyers don't have to race into a home and write an offer as they walk through the door. Now, if rates do drop, which lots of economists and lenders are predicting next year, buyers will flood back in and the prices will again rise. Now, the median days on market jumped up a ton to 37 days from 13 last year. But don't freak out. 37 days is still more or less a normal time on market depending on where you live. We grew so accustomed to 5 days on the market that this seems like a lot, but traditionally it isn't. If rates drop, we will start to see that come back down again as buyers re-enter the market. Now, as a seller, if you need to get into the market and sell your home, the buyers are still there. You just need to get with someone that you trust and can lead you through this process and help you find the right buyers for your house. So that's what I have for you, but I'm gonna pass it along to Paul for his mortgage information. So take it away, Paul.
Hey, Joe. Happy holidays. I'd say happy Thanksgiving, but that was yesterday. So beyond that, love the holidays. Love Thanksgiving, love Christmas, love the New Year. All that's a great time. So I hope everybody enjoys this time of the year, and I hope everybody's doing well. This is Paul Robinson. I'm the owner of Greater Oregon Mortgage Company. It's a mortgage brokerage that serves the state of Oregon and Washington. I wanted to visit about homes, primary residences on acreage, whether it's a refinance or a purchase. And when I say large acreage, I don't mean 2 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres, 15, even 20. I mean 40, 60, 80, 100, 150, even 200. And in some cases, more. But that's what I've noticed. I have a lot of clients that are calling, and they're wanting to buy these properties. I, over the years, have been fortunate enough to have a lot of experience with those, because early on, when I got into the business, I literally drove the state of Oregon and Washington and would just walk into bankers everywhere, wherever I was, whatever the city I was walking in, I was asking them, what kind of loan products do you have? And what don't you have? What are some of the things you can't do? Acreage was one of them. A lot of the banks they would be tapped out at 10 acres or 20 acres, and the more aggressive ones were, well, we'll go up to 40 acres. But in a lot of areas of our 2 states, there are a lot of homes that are on much larger parcels than 40 acres. And so that's where I would come in, and I would do my best, if you will, to figure out how to do it. And what I would tell the client and what I tell the banker is, hey, listen, if I can figure it out, your client, you're gonna end up with a much better product. And here's the reason why. If they have to go on the ag side, agricultural loans are primarily the most common you're gonna find. They're gonna be a 5-year fixed. And they'll base the payment off of maybe a 30-year or 25, 20, 15, 10-year, whatever the client chooses generally. But every 5 years, the banker has to go in and renew that loan. And then the rate will adjust to whatever the market is. So if the market goes up, that great rate they had is gone. And that's just part of it. That's just part of that world. And that is an excellent loan. And they do great work. So, but when you compare it to a 30-year fixed, which is what I can offer, and if somebody wants a 15-year or 20-year, they can have that too. But if they want a 30-year fixed, which is what our most common loan is on the residential side, then it saves them a ton. It's not adjustable, so they're not changing it unless they want to. The other thing that's a big difference is closing costs. One of the biggest differences is the cost of an agricultural commercial appraisal versus a residential appraisal. There's cost more. And the other big one is our debt to income ratios that we allow are much more flexible. Conventional commonly will go to 45%. VA will actually go 50 commonly almost, and even I've even seen 50 up to 55. And I know some people say, oh, I've seen more than that, but that's once you get over 50, then you're starting to get into that. But I haven't seen anything over 55 in a very long time. So anyway, the point is, debt to income ratio is much more flexible, which means you can look at a broader range of homes. And so anyway, with that, that's what I look at. So now let's talk about the type of acreage. First of all, it has to be a primary residence, and the acreage, I just closed 2 loans that really were encouraging, and they're both VA. So VA has more flexibility than conventional, being Fannie and Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. But I still always look at both. But I just closed 2 VA loans in the last 90 days. One of them was a home that was on 90 acres. It has to get primary residence. So this is a primary residence. It's on 90 acres, and it had some massive outbuildings, and massive being like 40 feet by 160 feet. I mean, and it wasn't just like some open structure. Even, it had walls, the whole thing. And they would use it not only for equipment, but also for some of the crops. They would store some of their crops in there too. But on a conventional side, no way. That's way too much income production, or even assumed income production, potential income production. But on the VA is much more helpful in that regard. And one of my investors is decided to align themselves more over in that way, because that's the thing I've seen over the years, is that Fannie, Freddie, VA, even FHA might say, we'll do it, but then the bank will say, oh gosh, we won't. we have an extra rule or two that prevent us from doing that. And so that's where it's been really encouraging, because I had the exact same conversation with the client and the realtors, both buyer and seller, which is let me do this. If I can figure it out, it's going to be such a better product for the for the buyer. And they were great. They said, absolutely, go for it. So we did it. We VA funded the home that was on 90 acres, and it had definite income production. And I'll say it wasn't their main source of income, but it was very significant. And the other one that funded, where I'm like, oh wow, was a home. Same thing. They weren't going to make money on this particular property, but it was 197 acres. I was like, man, that great house. Wasn't overbuilt, but it wasn't underbuilt. Beautiful home, had nice outbuildings, 197 acres, and they funded that one as well. And so I was just very encouraged, because a lot of veterans, a lot of people that have the ability to use, that are VA eligible, can get into homes and with these large acreage properties using that. And on the other areas, I'm able to, that are non-veterans, I'm able to see if I can figure out how to use conventional, which I've had a lot of success over the years with. And same thing, it typically is a 30-year fixed. The same thing in the sense that they'll go higher debt to income ratios, the costs are lower, the rates are lower, and again, 30-year fixed. So that was what I wanted to share. I hope all this was helpful. I'm gonna doubt that you're as excited about it as I am, which I gotta say, it is. I've always been excited about acreage loans, and this has been fantastic in my world. But if you are, and if this helps you in any way, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's you or somebody you know. I would love to visit with you. If I can help, I absolutely will. If I can't, I'm gonna help direct you to the next best step. And you can reach me at paul@gomcloans.com. All right, thanks.
Okay guys, there you have it. Those are the stats for November. Now, if you guys are looking to buy or sell in the next year, give me a call and let's talk about what it takes to get you the highest return on your investment when you do decide to go that route. Now, the market is changing rapidly, so having an expert to guide you through it is one of the best choices that you're gonna make. And then also, if you want a free buyer's or seller's guide sent directly to you, DM me or text me and I'll send one off. It has all sorts of information on not only what it's like to go through the buying and selling process in general, but what it's like doing that with yours truly. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this page so that you can stay up to date on the market here in Oregon. Thanks, guys.